Hello and welcome to Eternity Tutorials. Today in this video I'll be dealing with factor theorem. The factor theorem states if px is a polynomial of degree n greater than equal to 1 and a is any real number, then x minus a is a factor of px if pa is equal to 0 and pa is equal to 0, then x minus a is a factor of px. It is somewhat similar to the remainder theorem. We calculate the questions in a similar way as we do it in the remainder theorem. Let us take an example and I'll explain you the theorem. It says, examine whether x plus 2 is a factor of x cube plus 3x square plus 5x plus 6. Now, how do you calculate this? We know that the polynomial px, it is x cube plus 3x square plus 5x plus 6. Because we have to check for x plus 2. We all are aware of the remainder theorem that we put x instead of we put minus 2 instead of x, and I get this. If my remainder comes out to be 0, then it is a factor, and if the remainder is not 0, then it is not a factor. See, here we are following the first statement that x minus a is a factor of px if pa is equal to 0. So if pa, that is a is minus 2 here, if I calculate this, I get minus 8 plus 12 minus 10 plus 6. If you calculate this, you'll get 0, which implies that x plus 2 is a factor of x is a factor of px. Because the remainder comes out to be 0, so we say that it is a factor of px. Let's take another example. The question says find the value of k if x minus 1 is a factor of 4x cube plus 3x square minus 4x plus k. Now, px here is 4x cube plus 3x square minus 4x plus k. And because x minus 1 is said to be the factor, so instead of x I put 1, and we know that p of 1 is equal to 0. This is given to us. So we find p of 1 by putting 1 instead of x, and we get now when you calculate this, you get 4 plus 3 minus 4 plus k is equal to 0. This 4 and this 4 makes it 0, and 3 plus k is equal to 0, or we say that k is equal to minus 3. Let's take another question. It says factorize this. Now if you just get factorize, then you will be factorizing by doing the long division. Or you may get the question using factor theorem, factorize this. If you have to use the factor theorem, then first thing to see is the degree of the polynomial. If you see the degree of this polynomial is 3. If the degree is 3, then the number of solutions possible are also 3. First find out the first 0 of this polynomial by factor theorem, that is hit and trial. I put x as 1. When you put x as 1, you get 1 cube into 20 minus 23 into 1 square plus 142 into 1 minus 120. When you solve this, you get 1 minus 23 plus 142 minus 120 is equal to 0. Now which shows that x minus 1 is a factor of px. Please see, because 1 was the 0 of this polynomial, so x minus 1 becomes the factor. If it would have been minus 1, then x plus 1 becomes the factor. If this is a factor, then we find the remaining factors of the polynomial by long division. I divide the given polynomial by x minus 1. When you divide this, again we see the first term of this polynomial and first term of this, that is x cubed divided by x. The first term of the quotient comes out to be x square, and we get x cube minus x square. Because we have to subtract, so this gets cancelled, and I get minus 22x square plus 142x minus 120. Next term, minus 22x square is divided by x, so we get minus 22x. And when you divide this, you get minus 22x square plus 22x. Again, for subtraction, we change the sign. This gets 0, and I get 120x minus 120. The next term of the quotient is plus 120. When you multiply 120 by x minus 1, you get 120x minus 120. We change the sign and the remainder comes out to be 0. Now, because this is the quotient, so px, this is equal to x minus 1 into x square minus 22x plus 120. To find out the other factors, we factorize this by middle term splitting, and I get x square minus 12x minus 10x plus 120. X minus 1 as it is, I take x common, and I get x minus 12 minus 10 x minus 12. We get x minus 1 as it is. I take x minus 12 common, and I'm left with x minus 10. So the other zeros of this polynomial is 12 and 10, and the factors are x minus 1, x minus 12 and x minus 10. So that's all from the factor theorem. If you have any doubts, please leave your doubts in the comment section. And if you like the video, please share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.